Welcome back. I'm Oleg,
I'm Dylan.
and this is Kush Kingdom Australia, our third episode, first
Yeah.
one of 2020. Before we actually begin this, I want to let you guys know that if you guys don't want to sit through the entire video, because some may think it's too long, and that's fair, head over to our YouTube channel. There is a playlist called KKA Clips, and you basically get like 5 to 10 minute short videos that we cut apart from the actual podcast episode slash video episode, and check them out there. That way you don't have to sit through this whole thing. We're probably going to put this onto podcast soon-ish.
Mm.
Still gotta look into it, figure out how it's done,
Yeah.
and where it goes. Besides that, just on YouTube for now. And I think that's basically it for maintenance. We'll hop into it.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds good.
Do you want to
Well, I
kick it off?
think first thing we want to talk about today is hemp paper, the latest topic of our blog posts, and pretty much what it can offer over trees, and why we should be working with it, I think.
Hmm.
So I guess the major starting point is that it can be made completely organically, doesn't require any chemical bleaching or anything like that throughout processing. So there's not a whole lot of waste
Can we
that comes from it.
we've tried to record like a couple of days ago, and there was this one point that we were talking about the organic growth of hemp,
Mm,
and I just want to bring it up again because I thought it was like a good point.
mm,
We were pretty much arguing whether growing hemp non-organically is better for the earth than growing it organically, because it seems to be that the only difference is that, or the major difference is that organic hemp is organic because of the soil that it's grown on.
and what it's fed, of course, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but like hemp doesn't need pesticides or all that kind of stuff because it's natural weed.
yeah,
It's mainly like the soil,
yeah.
I guess,
Well,
right?
it's the soil that has to receive organic certification, and then
Yeah,
it also has to be fed organic nutrients rather than salt-based nutrients.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, for it to be grown in organic soil, you have to clarify that it doesn't have like heavy metals in it and other chemicals inside the soil for it to be organic, right?
Mm, yeah.
And hemp is great at actually removing those metals and other sorts of things from the soil to
Mm,
kind of revitalizing it. So I think it's almost fair to argue for like all things that are non-consumable, it would be better for the soil and I guess overall consumption because you see like if it cleans the soil, you can grow food on there that isn't contaminated with heavy metals and
mm,
chemicals and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was an interesting point, but
yeah.
let's
Yeah.
head back to paper.
Yeah. Well,
So to throw it in there.
um I actually looked a little bit into um just on the point that you brought up, then looked a little bit more into it, and also whether the metals can be extracted from the
From the
fibers as well.
fibers, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Um, Another thing we can touch on. But
Yeah.
as for the heavy metals that the plants can absorb, supposedly there's also some things that are very bad for soil. I believe one of them is called selenium, or
Selenium. Yeah.
yeah, but it's
Sounds like
something
something.
that the human body needs.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure out exactly what the nutrient is, but it contaminates a lot of soil and inhibits plant growth in the area. But it's really good for humans, and a lot of humans don't get enough of it. And in Colorado, they're actually experimenting with using hemp to clean this particular nutrient from the soil, and then distribute hemp seeds that are higher in this particular
Ooh,
nutrient to
that'd
people.
be cool. Yeah.
So they're cleaning the soil and like increasing the intake of this particular nutrient that humans need
Hmm.
in the population. So it's a real two birds with one stone type situation
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, apparently you can smelt down heavy metals from inside the fibers
Mhm.
as well once heavy metals have been collected from the soil and reclaim them for reuse.
But
So,
so you can separate them from the fibers.
yeah, you have to smelt it down. I
What
do
does
not
that mean?
believe, I imagine it would mean incinerating
Yeah, the shirt
the
or
plant.
the
The
whatever it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
in some cases, if the heavy metal contamination was great enough, that may prove to be a financially viable model.
Just growing plants and then burning them for metal.
Actually, I'm already seeing a couple of problems with this because then you're releasing greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere too. So
Yeah,
let's scratch that idea.
yeah, wouldn't be the best. But I mean, if we ever run out of metal, there's the hemp plant. Okay, so back to hemp paper and organic hemp paper.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Or non-organic could be better.
could be.
Yeah.
Bottom line is it can be manufactured without the use of chemicals once it's been grown.
Mhm.
So whether it's been grown organically or non-organically, you don't need any chemicals to create this paper. It's a very simple process. We talk about it on our latest blog post, which
Mhm.
you can check out on our website.
Mhm.
Um, it goes into a little bit more detail. Big thanks to cannabistat.in on Instagram, Indian hemp paper manufacturers who sent us a PowerPoint very graciously that we were able to use to create this blog for you guys. So yeah, thanks a lot to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I guess some of the other things to touch on is why hemp is so good at making paper compared to trees.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
tell me about it.
All right.
I'm all ears.
Um, Basically, it's to do with cellulose content. So paper requires cellulose. It to make paper, you want to separate the cellulose from the fibers of whatever plant you are making the paper from.
Okay.
A lot of the time, because um, there's another part of the fiber called lignin,
Yeah.
and lignin is a rougher kind of material that generally chemicals are used to remove
So that's
from
mixed in with the cellulose in the
in the
fibers.
fibers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It,
All
it
right.
holds it all together, gives it a rougher texture. I'm not too sure
It's
exactly what the lignin does, but you
the
don't want it
gluten of the plant world.
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want it in paper.
Mm-mm.
It can make the paper stiffen up
Okay.
and go a yellowy color.
Kind of like Egyptian papyrus or whatever they call it. Oh, you notice the
Not
paper's
too
real.
sure.
I think that's definitely a bad comparison
Yeah.
because they didn't really refine
Well,
them.
they could well
But
that's probably the problem.
yeah,
They didn't have the processes to take
right.
the lignin
Yeah.
out of it.
Have you ever like touched it? Papyrus paper? It's like, yeah, it's real stiff. It almost feels like it's gonna crack,
Right.
but you can like roll it and it's yellow and stained.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would
maybe.
probably
Could be.
that would probably be a major part of that, as
Yeah.
well as age and everything and
Mhm.
whatnot.
Yeah. Okay.
But basically, hemp only contains a 7 to 15% lignin content, I believe it is,
Okay.
whereas generally trees contain up to 35%. So you need chemicals to remove such a high lignin content in order to make paper that's bendy, flexible,
Mhm.
and that doesn't turn yellow when it's exposed to any environmental factors, wind,
Okay.
water, anything like that. So just due to the lower lignin content of the hemp paper, we can see why not so many chemicals are needed to create it.
Yep.
You don't need to remove so much lignin or hardly any at all.
So is
And
there still a chemical process involved, or they
no,
just kind of like blow past it?
they rely on using natural. Um, I can't remember exactly what they're called. Um,
I thought you were about to say the other C word.
they no, there's some natural compounds basically that they use to kind of coat the paper
Okay.
that adds the flexibility um, and reduces the potential for discoloration.
Mhm.
And then they also do something called varnishing, which is a very thin steel tool a lot of the time that it kind of acts like sandpaper for the paper, and they brush it up and down along in the
Okay.
same line, and it also smoothens out and adds a softer texture to the paper. So using these processes, you can remove the discoloration, the yellowing from the hemp paper,
Mhm.
and also add those qualities that you traditionally want from paper that you're printing on or using for workbooks or anything
Okay.
into it, just through natural human and mechanical
And
processes.
so the hemp paper will basically be exactly the same as normal paper, or is there like a difference?
Won't be exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I personally haven't tried any of their hemp paper yet.
Hmm.
The photos look incredible, and I urge anyone who can to jump on their Instagram and grab some for yourself. They have workbooks, notebooks, like diaries, all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
I actually want to order a couple for us just to kind of
That'd be
have it on
cool.
hand
Yeah.
so we can talk about how it is, what it's like,
Should have probably
and
done it before this, but
yeah, well,
live and learn, huh?
we'll get there.
All right. So we got that. Now, why? Here's a silly question. Why should we make paper from hemp instead of trees?
Well, first, I guess let's start with waste. No
Mhm.
chemicals in the process means a lot less waste. So
Yeah.
immediately you're seeing
Like wasting the plant or like the fibers and the cellulose and everything else?
there's less industrial waste, chemicals, like
Ah,
all
yeah.
that sort of stuff that has to be disposed of in different ways and sometimes just contained.
Mhm.
They don't know how to some chemicals they just don't know how to
Just
get rid of, you know?
bury it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not cool.
No.
So there's a lot less of that that's required with hemp paper,
Mhm.
and then you have greenhouse gas emissions that are also released in the manufacturing of traditional paper.
Mhm.
Very heavy forestation.
It sure is.
Um, Around 40,000 square kilometers of land every year is cut down due to deforestation,
Mhm.
and about 35% of that is for the paper industry.
Yeah.
So, with hemp producing 4 times the amount of pulp than paper can per acre per square kilometer, we could assume that, you know, 3,750 square kilometers of hemp could be dedicated to growing paper in order to.
Okay, that number came out of nowhere. All right, we got it actually written up on the board behind the camera, and Dylan will break it down for you because it's a good calculation. It makes a lot of
Mm,
sense, and it's very, very impressive once you realize how much land you actually need for the paper compared to like how many trees we cut down for the current paper. So do you
mm.
want to take us through your
Yeah,
mathematics?
sure. Basically, I jumped online and looked at how much land per year was cleared for deforestation, and then also looked at how much of that was for the paper industry.
Okay.
And 40,000 square kilometers a year is cleared for deforestation for all industries,
Okay.
and a total of 35% of that is cleared for paper.
And that makes it 15,000 kilometers
15,000
squared
square kilometers cleared for paper.
for paper a
Yeah,
year. Okay.
every year. And hemp can produce 4 times the amount of paper per acre or square kilometer in
Four times
this
the
in
amount
this
of paper or
case.
pulp.
4 times the amount of pulp,
Okay.
which is in turn gonna
Okay, yeah, makes
create
sense.
four
Yeah,
times the
yeah,
amount
yeah,
of paper.
yeah.
Um, so
Obviously.
with 4 times the amount being produced,
Mhm.
we'd only need a quarter of the land dedicated to trees in
Yeah.
order to reduce deforestation with hemp. So that works out to be about 3,750 square kilometers of hemp that we would need to grow in order to eliminate our dependence on trees for paper.
Yep. So that 3,750 kilometers would make up for the 15,000, the 35% of trees, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's a year.
every year.
Okay.
So if you grew one crop of hemp every single year on
hmm
that 3,750 kilometers,
hmm
you would,
Make up for
yeah,
all the paper that you need. Yeah.
all of it.
Is that 40,000 kilometers deforestation? Is that global or is that for a certain
Globally.
country
Globally.
or? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Um, but yeah, that's if you grow one crop of hemp every year. With hemp, you can grow
hmm
three.
Yeah.
So
So it takes 3 months to grow compared to trees
with
that grow around
when
like
it comes to
20,000 a year.
manufacturing hemp paper,
20
they
years.
say let it go to full maturity,
Yeah.
which is you grow it to 4 months.
hmm
So if you go three crops of hemp on that land every year, you're only going to need a third of the amount of land required to make up that total
A third of the
volume of paper,
3,750.
which is
Yeah.
1,200, only 1,250 square kilometers of hemp would
Yeah.
need to be grown in order to eliminate 35% of Earth's deforestation every
hmm
year. I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty good case.
It almost sounds too simple to be
Yeah,
true.
it
Like,
certainly is. Like it's
it just makes me think that we must have missed
hypothetical.
something because, like, 1,250 kilometers,
Nothing.
that's nothing. Well, kilometers squared. And that will take care of all of the deforestation to do with paper
Paper.
production. And then not to mention all the other things they could do with with that hemp. And then not to mention the soil that it will remediate. And there's a lot. Whereas trees, I mean,
The carbon it would remove.
yeah, the carbon it would remove. Yeah.
I mean, they
Mm.
absorb more carbon dioxide than trees too, so
hmm Yeah, if you want to just learn more in depth about it, go to our blogs, read
mm,
about it,
yeah.
and yeah, we'll take it from there. Is there anything else that we want to add for the
No,
pen
no,
paper?
I think that pretty much covers it. We have a little bit more detail on how it's made, obviously, the
Yeah.
step-by-step process of how to make it without chemicals. You could probably do it at home, to be honest. Like, it's really, really easy if you have the decorticated fiber.
And if you have hemp plants.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Yeah, kids, just go into your backyard and grow some cannabis. Use it for paper only. um,
Don't call me.
okay. Okay. Maybe don't do it at home. Depends where you are, really.
Yeah,
If you're in Queensland,
yeah.
probably not.
No, if you're in Australia, definitely not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
No. No.
Unless you have a license, in which case definitely call us.
Yeah,
We'd love to come out and do it with you.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Um, oh, that's another thing I wanted to do in like maybe next video where we
Mm.
talk about cannabis laws in general in state to state in Australia.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we can
Yeah.
cover like hemp and marijuana.
Yeah. All
And
right. Yeah.
because I've looked it up in our Queensland um, offences. Like, there's no actual, they just like obviously schedule the drug,
Mm.
and then they would show the offenses to do with drugs. So they don't tell you like specific drugs do specific things. They say like if any of these things you get caught with, and oh man, this is some really like strange terminology where like if you pass your friend a quote unquote marijuana cigarette, that means you are basically you can get charged for supplying other people with cannabis. But like it's a terminology that is like you're supplying other people with cannabis. It's I don't
Ju-
know. It seems so rigid, but
just for passing a joint.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's some other cool things. I think we should dive into it, and I'd be interested to know hemp growing laws. As you mentioned before, you do need a license to grow hemp,
Mm.
and it would be good to like dive into what are the restrictions and what kind of clearance you need to
Mm,
grow hemp.
yeah.
But yeah, I
It's
think
not
that'll
as
be,
strict as you'd think.
yeah,
No, it's not. It's not as strict as you'd think.
okay.
It's quite reasonable. Pretty sure it's you just have to have I think 5 acres of irrigated or 5 acres of land with access to irrigation
Mm.
and pass a criminal background check.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Well, there you go.
yeah. Yeah,
um,
that's Queensland, I think. We'll go more into it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. We'll do some research, and I think that'd be an interesting thing to discuss. Okay, so that's done.
Mm.
What's next? Talk about a business a little bit, or do you have anything
Yeah.
else to
What
add?
we've been up to lately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not
So
much. No,
well,
we've been busy-ish. We've had how Christmas period and New Year's period gets,
yeah.
and all the things that happen around that time. We've just been kind of working through it, and we're really happy to
Mm.
get this going again. Do you want to talk about
Yeah, we
the
had a little
failed the
hiccup.
failure, our
It's not a
failure?
it's only a failure if you didn't learn a lesson.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, basically we were trialing a new service that we're going to be offering a little later on this year, which we'll talk about again a little later on. But basically we had an order come through for some custom hemp T-shirts, and there was a tight deadline the first time, but you know that and
Also,
that
when they approached us, they were in a rush,
yeah,
and that was our first order. So we were like, "Hey, do you want to sample this, maybe? So you know what's going on." They said, "Nah, we kind of need it." We were like,
fair enough.
"Okay, let's do this."
Yeah,
And then, yeah, yeah. So the first order was rushed, and everything got there in time. It was good.
we met the deadline, but everything was wrong.
Yeah, everything.
Everything was so wrong.
Well,
And
at least there were t-shirts.
yeah,
So,
there were shirts. The size was wrong, the print was wrong, the tags were wrong.
yeah.
It
No,
was, I think, yeah, it was definitely him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, buddy. Okay, no, it was miscommunication
Yeah.
also with the manufacturer and some of the stuff they had going on because around Christmas period they have this thing over in China. It's called like 11/11, and it's a singles day, I believe. And so it's basically a holiday where like all the all the pretty much companies and stores and manufacturers and whatever have this crazy discount going on so that people can go out and shop like crazy. So all manufacturers are flat out and yeah, just keep in mind if you're ordering from China around like the November, December period, I would highly recommend to do it beforehand or afterwards because it can get pretty crazy
Mm,
and suppliers can potentially mess things up and it can get a bit hairy. But besides that, around the year, it's no problems at all.
mm,
But it's just that like that time period.
mm.
And yeah, so and then we got the second order.
Yeah, so when the first order messed up, we turned around to our manufacturer and told him what happened, and he was like, "Yep, that's cool. We'll do it again for you guys, and we'll get it right
Mm.
this time." As
And
long
they did.
as yeah, they
It
did.
was
Um,
perfect.
it was perfect, but we sent the incorrect size chart
Yep.
over, off by a couple of centimeters, in like a centimeter in each area maybe, which ended up having each shirt about 8 square centimeters larger than it should have
Oh,
been,
Jesus.
all
So in
up
other
in
words,
different.
basically like we ordered small, medium, large, and extra large, and we got medium, large, extra large, and extra, extra large.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't fare too well.
So in that case, I guess the tags were wrong because
Oh, damn.
yeah, we
Okay.
could have played it like that, man. Sorry, they put the wrong tags on. It wasn't the it wasn't the sizes.
Yeah, I guess.
Nah.
Damn.
Look, basically what we had to do was refund the order at this point. It was wrong,
Yeah.
wrong twice in a row, and
Yeah, well, we gave him the option of like, hey, do you want to try for a third? We promise we'll do it properly.
yeah,
And or we'll just refund you the money for the order. And they're like, yeah, we'll take the refund because I understand that
yeah,
it's a
hundred
business.
percent
Don't want to risk that
understandable.
waiting time.
That was,
Also, they
yeah,
did get free t-shirts from the first order, and they made
mm,
some really cool things with it. Like they
yeah,
kind of like cut them up and made them into singlets and all that kind of stuff. So they were very creative with it.
very cool.
So hey, they came out with t-shirts and their money back. So
Everyone ended up on top pretty much because we
mm,
learned a hell of a lot from it too. That's gonna
yeah,
ensure that we do it right next time,
absolutely.
and we've started doing it.
Yeah.
So we've
So
got the measurements got the measurements right this time,
mhm.
and
No, just got to sample it to
yeah,
make sure everything's right. And yeah, it's another thing with like the coronavirus going on in China and whatever situation they have. Not to mention their like Chinese New Year is pretty lengthy.
think that's over.
That's
That well,
over now.
they extend. I know they extended it to the 9th of February due to the virus, so they could keep
Mm,
people inside. But I know a lot of factories have pretty much been forced to open back up because the economy's just gone belly up in the
mm,
last couple of weeks. So
yeah,
not too sure when we're going to be getting those samples in,
yeah, but
but
probably within the next
yeah, and
month
we
at least,
promise
the
that
most.
we promise we will have every t-shirt screened before entering the country.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have thrown that in there, but um, good thing is hemp
I
t-shirts
won't
are
add to that.
antibacterial, so so no virus will stick on those things.
Nope.
Um, anyway, so we got that going on, and that's pretty much what we've been dealing with, trying to stay consistent with social
Mm,
media. Got a few new things coming, like some photo shoots, some
yeah,
maybe collaborations potentially
yeah,
with other hemp companies. See how that
yeah.
goes.
Thinking of
Um,
getting some hats in,
yeah, yeah,
chuck some photos of samples up over the next few weeks. See what you
yeah,
guys think.
yeah. And we'll definitely get onto those product review videos soon. We still got a bunch of stuff from like skincare to chocolates to animal foods.
Yeah,
Still got a bunch of those things. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. What else is there? There are. That was the green labeling thing that we
that
just
was
talked
the green
about.
labeling
Okay,
thing.
cool.
Well,
So,
we weren't gonna tell them the name, but so
ah,
this service that we're
TM.
gonna be putting
It's okay. I
together,
trademarked
we're,
it. We got it. We got it. It's all good.
calling it green labeling. So
Yes.
basically, if you or your business or your sports team or your cafe, whatever,
Mhm.
want to try hemp clothing, um, move to a more sustainable option, or try out a material with some different textile properties. Say you're in the kitchen and you want something that's going to breathe better. Come to us, let us know. Bring us your measurements, so we can try and work out how to get them right. Work with
Not necessary though. We'll
we
have our
can't
own
promise
templates.
that. We do have a designer that can kind of help with measurements, though, that has a bit of experience. So if you have anything custom that wants to be made, come
Mhm.
to us. It'll take a longer period of time to get done, uh, but we
Well,
can get it done.
to
But
kind of like clarify this, we'll have our own templates of t-shirts
yeah,
that you'll see and you can use, or if you want something specific, yeah, we're gonna have to uh, just discuss it
mm,
further and see what we can do about it.
yeah,
But should be no problem.
we'll be starting off with t-shirts and polos. We have some really nice
Hmm.
designs of some tees. This cut is going extinct, so be sure to grab up the last few on our
I
website where you
like this
can. And
cut.
yeah,
But yeah,
the new one's really
gonna have to
nice
keep
too.
moving.
Really nice too.
Okay.
And yeah, so polos, t-shirts,
Also,
we got it.
what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna throw in like a little offer for the people that look at our videos.
Yeah, all right.
So I think it would be nice to just give them somewhat of a discount. We'll figure out the number, but for you watching, if you want to use the screen labeling service of ours, then we'll offer a code, like a code word kind of thing, and it's going to be green labeling, one word. And if you type that in, you'll get some form of discount.
Does
Well,
labeling have one or two L's?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't vary.
I know, but
Oh, you put me in the spot now. I don't know, Google it. Um, You're at a computer. Have a look. It's spelled the correct way because I'll be Googling it just to double checking. So there you go. Um,
I was asking for myself.
okay. Well, you kind of you made us look stupid, buddy. Um, so that's that. I think there isn't much
Yeah,
more we're gonna cover in this video.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks for watching,
yeah.
and
We'll see you next time.
sure will. Have a good one.